Okay. So we are starting Unit 10, measurement of three-dimensional figures. So we'll do all different kinds of measurement, surface area, volume, stuff like that. The first one we're going to do is surface area of prisms. So first we're going to get some vocab out of the way. What is a prism? It's a three-dimensional shape with two parallel bases and the lateral sides will always be rectangles. Okay, so bases. A base is the shape that kind of makes the prism. So if you had a triangular prism, you would have a triangle on bottom and top. Grab a couple of my examples. Okay, so this would be a pentagonal prism. As you can see, there's a pentagon on top. There's also a pentagon on bottom, and they are parallel. If I lay the shape this way, you can see that that face and that face are parallel. These are the lateral faces. The lateral faces are the ones that are in between the two bases. They can look like this, or a lot of times you'll see them vertical. Okay, so the base does not have to be on bottom. I can set my prism like this, or I can set my prism like this. So just like area, base does not have to be in bottom. When I say base, I'm talking about the congruent parallel shapes. The rectangles are called the lateral sides. Okay, here's a hexagonal one, in case you're curious. Okay, again, two hexagons parallel. Here's a triangular prism, triangles on both sides, rectangular lateral faces. And then here's a cylinder. Okay, a cylinder is technically a prism, okay, because it does have two congruent opposite bases. They are circles. Is the lateral face a rectangle? It actually is, and I'll actually demonstrate this in class. It's kind of hard to do on the notes, but if I were to cut this and then roll it out flat, it would actually look like a rectangle. So we still consider the lateral face to be a rectangle. So just to give you some visuals on this, to draw a prism, you just want to draw your shapes, kind of squish it down, one on top of the other, and then just connect the corners. Or if you're going to draw them sideways, you just draw one and draw the next one kind of a little bit above and over, and then again connect the vertices. So in this picture, that and that would be the base, whereas in this picture, those two would be the base. Okay? A lot of people mess up on this one. When they get the triangular prism laying down flat, they want to tell me that this rectangle is the base. Again, the base is not on bottom. So please keep that in mind. Okay? When we talk about the height of a prism, the height of a prism is the distance between the bases. So in this case, my height would be this way, but is height always vertical? Hopefully I've trained you enough by now that you know that it's not. In this case, my height would be the horizontal distance. Okay. Another thing that people get confused of on the base, when we're talking three-dimensional, okay, base is a shape, not a number. Okay. Lots of people mess this up every year. When I ask you what is the base, and I'm talking about a three-dimensional figure, I'm asking for a shape, not a number. Let me give you the formulas, and then we can go on to the examples. Lateral area. Okay, the lateral area of any prism is just equal, we can say LA equals PH. The big P stands for perimeter of the base. So again, it's real important to know what your base is because that's what you're finding perimeter of. And the H is obviously, E goes first, height. Okay, and we've already talked about what height is. Okay, the lateral area is just the sum of the lateral faces. It does not include the two bases, it's just the lateral faces. Does not include the bases. That's your first formula. Your second formula is surface area. If they ask you for surface area, they mean total, even though they don't really say it. Just assume that they mean total. So surface area equals PH plus 2B, which makes sense. To do the total surface area, you would just need the lateral surface area plus the two bases. Okay. Again, you already know what P and H are. B stands for area of the base. Here's where people get messed up again, because they want to plug a number in for B, but they forget that they have to find that number first. This is area of the base. The base is a shape, not a number, so you have to find the area of it before you can plug into the formula. Alright, so examples. Okay, so if I'm going to find the surface area, the lateral area and the surface area of this shape. Remember, lateral area is P times H. So identify the parts. Remember, this is your base. Now, one thing you'll have to realize is that parallel sides are congruent. So if this is 5, then this is also 5. So my perimeter of my base is 5 plus 6 plus 5, which is 16. And if you remember from the picture, the height is the distance between the bases. So here's the base, and my other base is back there. So the distance between the bases is 12. Distance between bases. And all I got to do is plug in. Lateral area equals 16 times 12. And that should be 192. Now for surface area, I need to find the area of the base because it's PH plus 2B. I got to be able to find B. Remember, B is not 6 and it's not 12. B is not a number, it's a shape. B is a triangle. We need to figure out the area of this triangle. We do not know any of the angles, so we can't use our sine formula. We're going to have to use the 1/2 B times H. So we have to find our H. I showed you this trick on a different problem the other day. If this is 6, this part's 3. So to find my H, I can do H squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. That gives me H squared plus 9 equals 25. So H squared equals 16 when you subtract the 9 over. And then take the square root and you get 4. So the big B, remember, is a triangle. So it's 1/2 base times height. Remember, your base of your triangle is 6, not 3. So 1/2 6 times 4, which is 12. So my big B is 12. So surface area equals P times H plus 2B. Again, my perimeter was 16. My H was 12. 2 times 12. Now, another really hard thing to keep straight in this one, I think surface area is harder than volume. Even though you would think volume would be harder because it's a three-dimensional measurement and surface area is just two-dimensional. But it's actually harder because you have a lot of stuff going on. Keep in mind, you have two different H's in this problem. You have the H for the solid and you have the H for the triangle. Those are two different things. This is the triangle H and this is the solid H. So this is the height for the solid, which is 12, and this is the height for just the triangle. Sometimes that's really hard to keep straight, so be careful on your homework on that. Okay, next example. I'm going to draw a hexagon. And I'm just going to draw another hexagon behind it, a little up and over, and connect the edges. And this is 6, and this is 12. Okay, so we're going to find lateral area and surface area. So lateral area is P times H. Again, P is the perimeter of the base. So that's 6 times 6, which is 36, because the perimeter is the length around the base. Again, remember in this case, our base is the hexagon. Okay. And again, our H is the distance between the bases, which is 12. So the lateral area is 36 times 12, which is 432. Now to do the surface area, which is PH plus 2B. Again, what is B? B is not 6 and B is not 12. B is a hexagon. Okay? When you're doing big B, you are finding the area of a shape. This is a hexagon. The bottom part is 6. If you remember from our regular polygons, all hexagons have a 30-degree angle here. If you don't remember that, you can find that angle by doing 360 divided by twice the number of sides. Okay? Then you need your apothem. If this whole thing is 6, this part is 3, which makes it the small leg. So to get to the long leg, you just times by square root of 3, which is my apothem. Area of a hexagon is 1/2 AP, so 1/2, 3 square root 3 times the perimeter, which was 36. Okay. And if you're doing this as a decimal, if you wanted to leave it in simplest the square roots, you would just do 36 times 3 times 1/2 and leave that alone. As a decimal, this is 93.53. So that is my big B, right? So surface area is PH plus 2B, which in this case, the P times the H was 432 plus 2 times 93.53, which equals 619.06. So just to recap, the P is the perimeter of the base. This was 6 times 6 because there's 6 sides and each one of them is 6 units long. The H in this case is the height of the solid, which is here. That is your height. Okay? And we plugged it in the formula. When we got to this formula, the big B is always area of the base. So we had to do the area of a hexagon. Okay, remember the hexagon, the angle is always 30. So we got 3 square root 3 and plugged it in. A couple more examples. I'm going to try to go through these last two fast so your video is not too long. This next one's easier. Now, if you look in the book, there is a different formula for cylinders. You can use those formulas if you want to, but the formulas I've given you will work, okay? It's not any different than the other formula. I don't know why they give you two different ones. So in this case, the lateral area is P times H. Now P stands for perimeter of the base, but in this case the base is a circle. So to do perimeter of a circle, is the same thing as circumference. Alright? So that's just going to be d pi. They give you the diameter is 3, so 3 times pi. And the height of the prism is 4. So the lateral area is 3 pi times 4, which is just 12 pi. Surface area is pH plus 2b. Again, you have to find your big B, which is area of a circle. The diameter is 3, but the area of a circle is pi r squared. R in this case is 1.5. So pi 1.5 squared. So the surface area equals, we got the pH, which is 3 pi times 4 plus 2 times 1.5 squared pi. And if you type all that on your calculator, you get 51.8. Alright, last example. So those are the straightforward examples. Here's the shape, find the surface area. You'll have some more challenging problems, but some of them will ask you to do stuff backwards. This one isn't too hard of an example, but it gives you the idea. So we have a rectangular prism. Has base, edges, 7 and 10. The lateral area is 510. What is the height? Okay. So again, I hope I trained you on the area unit good enough. Even though they're not asking you for lateral area, they talk about lateral area, so go ahead and write down the formula, right? Oops, that's supposed to be an H. Lateral area equals P times H. Go ahead and plug in the formula and plug in for what you know. We know the lateral area is 510. We can find the perimeter of the base. If it's 7 and 10, then that's 7 plus 7 plus 10 plus 10. In this case, P equals 7 plus 7 plus 10 plus 10, which is 24, times H. To solve for H, all we have to do is divide. Actually, that's 34. So divide by 34, and H equals 15. And that's it.